وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
Ta samu ne.
Um, it seems Zara is not around. Someone should recite a volunteer for us. Someone should start reciting, please. Dr. Muhammad Sani, you should start reciting since you want me to be mentioning names. Doctor, we are not hearing. You can recite any place of your choice.
آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين.
Doctor, the way you stop seems like you are tired with the recitation. Yes, before we start, I'm still trying to present the distance. Okay, to أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على النبي الكريم وبعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the opportunity in this program of Islamic family law, a study based on Askari, which we are treating the book 70 cases in Islamic family law. And today is going to be the sixth session from the book, which is we are now in the third week, and inshallah, if things goes well, we are hoping that by next week, as it was stated in the flyer, that we are going to come to the end of the program. So, as we may know, we have treated different cases. We have discussed different cases as far as Islamic family law is concerned. And we are now almost in case 45 or so in these cases which we are treating. And inshallah, today we are going to continue from where we stopped. Uh, Yesterday we had a little discussion about the maximum duration or the maximum months or weeks that a baby will take in the will stay in his with his mother. And before I said that it is 4 years, but after asking from some of the medical doctors we have here, it was confirmed that that cannot be proved as far as medical line is concerned. So that's why we agreed to stay in that 1 year, which some of the questions we ask cannot work on that. So now we are back on 1 year, as one of the our colleagues, which we are having the class together with them yesterday, explained, and from the answers we received in the group. So this is all about what we are treating, and inshallah today we are going to continue from where we stop, which is case 40 something, which will start presenting now inshallah. So as we may see, we are still in the book of divorce, which we have been treating different cases of divorce, and inshallah we are going to continue from where we stopped today. I asked a question in the group, even though I have given the answer whereby someone said that I have divorced you 1.5, and the answer is going to be two divorces, because in Islam we don't consider anything half divorce. So when you tell your wife that you have divorced her 1.5, is going to be considered two divorces. Likewise, when you say 2.5 divorces, is going to be considered three. And the husband don't have any say concerning this. You have to exercise patience. That's why it is not accepted for a Muslim to engage in anything he don't know the ruling of Islam in it. ولا يحل له أن يفعل فعلا حتى يعلم حكم الله فيه. That one is not accepted to say anything without knowing the ruling of Islam in it. So, uh, uh, these are part of the things we treated yesterday. We treated remarriage during waiting period, whereby the wife claims that she is done with her waiting period, and husband claims otherwise. So we always also treated the divorce of a minor, elderly, pregnant, or non-consummated marriage, which are very straightforward. We also explained the explicit divorce, which is talaq sarih, whereby clearly you tell her that you are divorced. And we also treated about kinaya, whereby you use some hidden words which explanations need to be made on that. So, uh, please, someone has to mute his mic. Someone has to mute his mic. So, these are part of the things we treated yesterday, and as we may know, inshallah, we are going to continue from that today by Allah's willing. So, whenever in Islam, when it comes to the case of divorce, please don't play with that, because you may easily go and do something that you'll end up crying for it. So when it comes to the case of divorce, be very careful with that. So yesterday we also treated approval of divorce issued by a third party, whereby someone, is it your father, your Jamin brother, Consagin brother, or Uterim brother, or even your mother, went ahead and divorces your wife. The moment you approve that divorce, then it is considered binding. So we treated that one yesterday. We treated response to a wife's request for divorce, whereby a wife said that if you wish, kasakeni, or she tell him kasakeni, kasakeni. When the husband nods his head up and down like this, then that divorce is considered. She has to leave for her house early, and that's all. So we started treating, and we are going to start from case 47 today. Yes, case 47, the situation whereby divorce applied to part of the wives, part of the wife. A husband states, "I divorce you one and a half times." You can see from his statement, you can see that he is not serious. He said, "I divorce you one and a half times." What is the outcome? The outcome here is that when your husband says that "I divorce you one and a half times," refers to a portion such as one and a half, it is treated as two divorces. That is one. Second, when your husband said, "I divorce your eyes," or any part of her body, we don't care, did he use eyes, nose, hands, legs, we don't care. The divorce applies to the entire marital relationship. So no matter what, don't say that "I divorce your hands" or something or else. Please, if you use this kind of word, it is considered binding and you have already lost your wife. So let's make sure that we are not playing with divorce. Okay, we have case 48, doubt about number of divorces. There is doubt whether a husband pronounced 1, 2, or 3 divorces. What is the outcome? According to the prevalent view, that is mashhur, the higher number is considered binding. For instance, if a husband pronounces a certain number of divorces, but later doubts the number, whether it is 2 or 3, then it is going to be considered 3. He said he divorces his wife. I'm thinking that I have divorced my wife either 2 or 3. So here she is going to be considered 3 divorces and he cannot do anything. So you don't doubt, you don't play in the case of divorce. When you pronounce something which you are not sure of it, we are going to consider the highest number. So if it is 1 or 2, we are going to consider 2. If it is 2 or 3, we are going to consider 3. So please, let's take care of this. Now, the next case, as you can see, is conditions for remarrying a former husband after doubt in number of divorces. You see, to be sincere, in terms of divorce, don't contemplate, don't doubt in the case of the number, in the case whereby you are doubting the number of the divorces, because you are going to understand something very important here. Even though you will find it somehow, but that is the ruling. Like single divorce after return, if your husband issues only one divorce after the return of his previous wife, which he had a doubt in the number of divorces he pronounces to her, she cannot take her back again without an intervening marriage, unless if he divorces her 3 times at a time. Okay, now what we are saying here is that when you divorce your wife, but you are in doubt whether I divorce her two or one. So now that she completed her waiting period, without taking her back, and she went and married another husband. The moment she comes back, whenever you issued one divorce to her, then it is considered irrevocable divorce, which is talaqul ba'in, because we'll just be considering that you have already divorced her 2 divorces, and this is the third one. When she comes back again, we will still consider this. So when it comes to kind of divorce, take your time, sip a tea, and think of, do I even need to divorce this woman? Do I need to separate from this woman? When you made your mind that you are leaving this marriage, you are parting ways with her, then you should take your time, you should write her a paper, or you should explain to her in the best manner while you are not angry, so that you know what you are saying, so that it avoids any kind of problem in the future. Also, in case 50, we have ambiguous divorce pronouncement. Ambiguous divorce pronouncements occur when a husband's statement regarding divorce lacks clarity or specificity, like the situation whereby how he issued the divorce is not clear. This can lead to multiple interpretations and affect all involved parties. Okay, now, a husband says one of you is divorced without specifying which wife he intends to divorce. This is part of among the first questions I sent on my WhatsApp status. So here you can see he said that one of you is divorced. Maybe he wrote that in a paper, maybe he wrote it in his WhatsApp status, and all his 4 wives went ahead and opened that message. So all these 4 wives will be considered divorced. As far as you answered the name of his wife and you went ahead and opened that letter, then you will be considered divorced. So please, let us not be playing with divorce, we the men. Okay. So next, you see, this is ambiguous statement, and you can see the divorce is binding. We have indirect ambiguous pronouncement. A husband declares one of you is free to live in a group of wives. You can see one of you is free to live to where? She should go to her father's house. So one of them, here any of his wives can live. And even if she is the most loved one to him, when she leaves, then he don't have any option. She must leave. And that is the end of their marriage, unless if he claimed that it is only one divorce. Here, intent toward a stranger woman, you can see a husband while in the presence of his wife and another stranger woman says one of you is divorced, intending to divorce the stranger woman. The divorce applies to the stranger woman whenever he married her. So this one is incorrect. Just last week, when I was translating the book, I realized an error here, as you can see. This place, it is an error. The best thing for the place is that the outcome is that his wife is divorced, not the stranger woman. His wife is divorced because he don't have any relationship with the wife, with the stranger woman. You come and met your wife with another stranger woman, and you just said that one of you is divorced, then your wife is divorced. We don't care. You cannot come and claim that you are referring to the stranger woman. Do you have any relationship with the stranger woman? No. Since you don't have any relationship with the stranger woman, then your wife is going to be considered divorced. So this is the case. For those who have the book, this case 51, there is a mistake in it. We have misidentification or miscommunication. A husband called his wife Halima, but his other wife Zuleyhat responded. Maybe she is thinking that he came with a surplus or a gift for her, maybe a chicken. He called Halima and Zuleyhat responded. Then he said, I divorce you. So in this case, the divorce applies to both women due to misidentification and the ambiguous nature of the statement according to the author. According to the author of this book. However, in Mukhtasar Khalil, if he said Hafsat and Amra answered, thinking that the husband is going to give her something good or have a marital affair with her, then the intended wife is the one is divorced. So in this case, for the case of Halima and Zulayhat, it is Halima that is divorced, and this is the predominant opinion, and this is the opinion we are as far as our book is concerned. But the author of Askari claimed that both Halima and Zulayhat are divorced. But if you can see, it's going to be difficult for the husband. So now oath of divorce as case 53. Oath of divorce involves specific condition and implications that can impact the validity and effect of the divorce. Okay, here, an oath of divorce which we call yamin al-talaq or talaq al-yamin, where the author of Al-Akhdari Ibn explained that said wa iman al-talaqi, that is the oath, a divorce oath to divorce, refers to a solemn vow or promise made by a husband regarding the act of divorce. Once an oath is made, it is binding and cannot be nullified. Example of this is we don't necessarily have this kind of things here in Nigeria, or let me say in our tribe, but in most cases, the Arab has this kind of forms of divorce whereby someone will just tell his visitor that wallahi, if you did not eat this food that I brought to you, then my wife is divorced. If you did not attend my wedding occasion, then my wife is divorced. So you should know that whenever you send this kind of statement to a third party or any kind of person and he refuses that your request or something you claimed or something you made an oath on, then your wife is divorced. You can see this is a bad habit. That's why the author of Al-Aghdari explained this in part of Kabair, that is the great sins. He listed this and said, wa iman al-talaqi wa intihar al-muslim wa ihanatihi to the end of the book. So it's part of the habit of Arabs, whereby one will just tell his wife that if or he will tell his friend that if you refuse to eat this food, then my wife is divorced. When he does that, he do that, then his wife is going to be considered divorced. So please, men should take care of all these things we are saying and try to avoid them. It is not good. So we have conditions for valid divorce. The conditions include the person making the divorce must be a Muslim, that is one. The individual must be legally responsible, that is mukallaf. That means is a small child who is being married to another a daughter cannot issue a divorce. It is not accepted for that. Then the divorce must be done voluntarily, not under coercion. So when your mother or father force you to divorce your wife, you can divorce her in front of them. But if she did not do anything to you and you are not willing to divorce her, please note that that divorce is invalid. When either your mother, your father force you to divorce your woman, your wife, without any problem, without being that woman, she's not cheating you, she's not doing anything to you. It's just because that they don't like her. So you have two options. It's either you divorce her in front of them, but you are not willing to do so, which your wife we consider her not divorced, or you can decide to follow the order of your parents if you see that that is going to be good for you, and you divorce her, and you ask her to exercise patience and give her some money. So divorcing while ill, we have divorce when someone is ill. A man divorces his wife while he is ill. The divorce is binding and she inherits from him even if he dies after the waiting period or after she remarries. So you can see there are wicked husbands when maybe they finish spending 30 years with their wives, but when they see they are not feeling fine, they are ill, they are going to die very soon, then they will just issue a divorce to the wife. So let the wife know that whenever that her husband who divorces her die, in that illness, that is the condition. In that illness, even if it takes him 20 years in that sickness, whenever you hear the story that my former husband, which we are married 20 years back, is dead, then you should go to him and claim your inheritance. You have to collect inheritance before you come back. If his children refuse to give you, you should find the legal advisors and barristers and take them to the court because you have a right to his inheritance. So when either a wife or husband is ill or sick, they cannot separate from, okay, they can separate from the wife, from the spouse, but that spouse must inherit from that other spouse. So let's take note of this. It's a great opportunity. Gesture-based divorce. For a mute person, a gesture including divorce is treated as a verbal pronouncement. So you can see the case of Hamza is approached by his wife Aisha, who asks if he wishes to divorce her. But Hamza is unable to speak. He makes a clear gesture that signifies divorce. So this is going to be considered binding. So either a blind person, a deaf person, they can all issue a divorce based on the kind of gesture they can make, which is very clear to be understandable. So we have immediate and contingent divorce, which is categorized into immediate based on the types. The divorce takes place immediately or is dependent on certain conditions. This is part of the questions I asked yesterday. Today, we can see immediate divorce occurs when the pronouncement of divorce takes effect without delay. These types of divorce does not depend of any future event or condition. Okay, now scenario one: a husband says to his wife, "You are divorced by the rising of the dawn." Da asuba yayi kin sauko. Or you are divorced by the start of the month. Farkon wata na yi kin sauko. Since we already know that asuba must do, that is the dawn, the morning must definitely come, then she is automatically divorced. Since now we are not going to wait until it is morning or it is down. That is lokacin asuba. She is already divorced. So when you make a condition on something that must occur and you divorce your woman, then she is going to be divorced immediately. You said that Ramadan na zuwa kin sauko, so from now she is divorced. Another scenario is condition of purity. A husband pronounces divorce contingent on the purification of his wife from menstruation or her start of menstruation. For example, he said you are divorced when you become pure from menstruation or when you start menstruating. If the wife is currently menstruating, the divorce will take effect immediately and is not contingent on her purification. So you can see these are all types of things that even the husband need to be punished for doing such kind of acts which are irresponsible for him. We have the second one, which is the contingent divorce on something that does not have a will. It's part of the question I asked today. A husband says you are divorced if the Kainji dam wills. Kainji dam doesn't have any will, And even if it has, it cannot be understood. So such a kind of pronouncement is considered binding. So the moment you said that you are divorced, when Kainji or Shiroro Dam wills or Zuma Rock wills, it is binding. So your wife is divorced immediately. Why? Because Kainji Dam does not have any will. Even if it has a will on your wife, then we cannot understand because Kainji Dam cannot speak for itself. So the divorce takes effect immediately. Contingent on death, your husband says, "You are divorced upon my death." So in this case, there are two opinions on whether this divorce is binding immediately or not. The divorce is considered effective immediately upon the husband's death. The second opinion is the divorce doesn't take effect at all. So in this case, if I will be the one to choose the best for me, I'm going to say that the wife is divorced because we don't play with divorce. Salasun jidduhunna jiddun wa hazluhunna jiddun. Scenario 3, we have contingent on diving will. A husband said, "You are divorced if Allah wills. Insha Allah kinsaku. Insha Allah kinsaku." If you said that to your wife, then she is divorced immediately. Case 58, we have divorce with exceptions. It's part of the question I asked today. We have most exception. A husband says, "You are divorced 3 times except for 2." This is very clear. You are divorced 3 times except for 2. You can see clearly it's going to be how many? It's going to be 3 times except for 2. That is 1. Na sake ki saki uku banda biyu. You can see if he says that immediately, then it is 1 divorce. But maybe he said, "Na sake ki saki uku." Before he said banda biyu, maybe say shaki. He started coughing and he was taken to the hospital and he forgets to deduct the 2. Then she is gone. We have less exceptions. A husband says, "You are divorced 3 times except for 1." You can see that is 2. We have all-encompassing exceptions, whereby a husband says, "You are divorced 3 times except for 3." Na sake ki saki uku banda uku. You see, you can see this husband is not serious. This is considered an all-encompassing exception, and the wife is now divorced 3 times. So she's gone. Uku banda uku, she is gone. A husband says, "You are divorced 4 times except for 3." This is the question I asked in the group. This is also considered all-encompassing exception, which is also 3 divorces. The remaining one is not going to be considered. Divorce tied to marriage. This one is so serious. A divorce that is tied to the act of marriage or certain conditions can have specific implications on its effectiveness. A husband says, "You are divorced the moment the imam makes the marriage contract." Da an ɗaura auren bikin sauku. The divorce is considered effective immediately upon the completion of the marriage contract. Aiko ana gama ɗaura aure to matarka ta sauku. And you know it is non-consummated marriage, then you cannot say you are taking her back. You have to pay for another dowry, seek her hands for marriage if she wills to marry you again. So you can clearly see that the husband is in soak. Also, we have a husband says, "If I marry you, you are divorced." And the marriage contract is made. So you can clearly see that also this, whenever the marriage is being contracted, then the wife is divorced. We have conditions attached to divorce can either be general or specific, affecting the binding nature of the divorce. A husband says, "Whenever I marry a woman, she is divorced." You can see the word woman or is so this kind of general statement is not considered because we will just consider you as part of the mad people, because how can you just come and tell us that whenever I marry a woman, she's divorced? So we are not going to consider this, please. But whenever you specify, you see, the other one is a general condition, but this one is specification. Whenever I marry a Fulani woman, she is divorced. Then whenever you marry a Fulani woman, she is divorced. The car or Fulani task. Or the situation whereby you say, whenever I marry a woman from Kano State, then she is divorced. So the moment you marry a Fulani, a woman from Kano State, then she's divorced. Or you attach it with certain complexion. Maybe whenever I marry to a fair woman or a chocolate woman, she is divorced. Then whenever you marry her, she is divorced. You can see these are specific conditions which are considered binding, as they clearly define the circumstances under which the divorce takes effect. So khul'i, which is divorce for compensation. Khul'i is a unique form of divorce in Islamic law where the wife initiates the divorce in exchange for compensation. Definition of khul is a form of divorce initiated by the wife wherein she agrees to compensate her husband to dissolve the marriage. The compensation can be made by the wife with herself or on her behalf. So in this case, the wife can give him the money, can give the husband the money. We don't care whether it is 10 naira, 1 million, 500 million, or her father, or her wali, or her mother, or any other person can give that compensation on behalf of the wife. So conditions for whole compensation requirement, the compensation must be specified and agreed upon both parties. It can be equal to dowry or any amount by both parties agreed upon. So you can see this. A wife agrees to pay the amount equal to her dowry as compensation for khul. So this is going to consider binding. We have uncertain compensation amount where the compensation is set with an uncertain item, such that I am requesting a khul in exchange of my piece of jewelry. Zan baka wani daga cikin ɗan kunni na, to wanne daga cikin ɗan kunnan we don't care. If she went and take a kind of jewelry that worth 50 naira, we don't care. She is going to be considered divorce. That my car that went missing, zan baka wannan ɓatacciyar motar tawa a matsayin compensation na mu rabu da aure. When he agrees, we don't care whether that car is being found or not. This is considered binding. Okay, so the compensation must be paid unless the wife offers is to escape harm for the husband. So you can see maybe the husband is cheating the wife, he is harming her, he is beating her, he is doing all such kind of things to the wife, which she feels that she cannot take it anymore. So she can say that I'm going to uh I'm going to give you 100,000 for my whole compensation, that please I want to separate from you. I'm going to give you this 100,000 cash. So she offered to him the 100,000 and he agreed. Then they parted ways. Immediately they parted ways. Maybe she's together with her lawyer and she takes the husband to the court of law, or she take her money and run away. Dama, she is trying to find a way to run from the husband and she don't know the best way to follow. So now that she gives him the money, she can take her money back and run away, or find a legal way whereby she can take her money back. It is all accepted. But I'm not encouraging you to do that. So this kind of divorce remain valid and he must return the compensation. Khul in exchange with an unlawful haram item. This is for one of the questions which I asked and no one was able to get it correctly. A wife requested a khul which will be in exchange of wine. Ya ba ta ba shi giya a matsayin compensation no khul'i. And the khul was agreed upon too. Since he agreed upon this kind of compensation with something which is haram, he can claim that he's not going to collect that. But in the situation whereby he accepted that haram thing, that it is considered binding and he cannot do anything. Even though the wine is going to be rejected later, but she will now separate from him. Okay? Consideration for khul with a sick wife. In cases where a wife is ill and seeks khul, there are specific guidelines regarding the compensation. So, in a nutshell, what we are saying here is that when you are ill, but maybe to part ways with your husband, so know that yes, we agree. If he agrees to part ways with you, he can leave, but you should take it into consideration that he is going to come back to inherit your money. So when illness comes in or sickness, then be assured that when you part ways with your spouse, then he is going to come back and inherit from you no matter what, because we are just going to consider that you are trying to part ways with him so that he cannot inherit from you. Very interesting. You can see it is the husband that will say, na baki daman ki saki kanki. Na baki daman ki saki kanki. That you have the choice to divorce yourself. So in this case, if the wife responds with joy or acceptance, yana cewa na baki daman ki da ki saki kanki, ta daka tsalle, ta yi ihu, ta yi hamdala, ta ce alhamdulillah, na rabu da kaza, na rabu da kaza. So you can see this is kind of response with joy or acceptance. So the delegation he gave to her is now effective, and this divorce is considered binding. But if she responds granting him intimacy or gestures indicating rejection, then the delegation is not effective. He gave her that delegation, but she just continue her life. She continue giving him food. She continue accepting him for everything he seek for. That means she rejects. So we have the effects of delegated divorce. If the wife initiates a single divorce, the husband has no right to contest for it. So whenever he said, I give you the opportunity to divorce yourself. When she said that I divorce myself one, then it's going to be considered binding. But in the situation whereby the husband says that, okay, here the wife said that I divorced myself 2 times or 3 times, the husband can now claim that he did not agree with that. It has to be only one divorce or two. It has to be only one divorce. But when the wife says 2 or 3, he can say no. But in the case whereby she said 3 divorce and he agreed with that, then it's going to be considered binding. So here, ambiguous response. If the couple separates before the wife responds, you said that you have to divorce yourself. But that wife is clever. She refused to say anything before because she still loves him and she don't want to separate her marriage. She refused to answer her. So the husband has the right to take her to the court that she must choose one. Ambiguous response. He said, Madam, I gave you the opportunity to divorce herself. Then she responds with an ambiguous word. Maybe, na baki daman ki saki kanki. Then she said, oh ho. So what is the meaning of oh ho? It does not have any meaning. So the husband can take her to the court so that the judge will force her to divorce herself or to continue staying with him. Okay, so uh, as you can see, we also have tamlik. This part of divorce that we said delegated marriage, we have tamlik, we have takhir. All these ones that we have explained now, they are all talking about tamlik, that na mallaka miki kanki, na mallaka miki kanki ki saki kanki. So in this situation, the wife can divorce herself one. When she goes beyond one, above one, then you can force her back to say that only one I mean. This is one. The second one is takhir. Takhir is either granting her a choice of remain or separate. Na baki zaɓin kanki. That is takhir. Na baki zaɓin aure ko rabuwa. In this case, it has to be either three divorces or to say that she don't want the divorce. So in this case, ko dai ta saki kanta saki uku ko kuma ta ce bata yarda saki ko ɗaya ba, dama is between takhir, zaɓin aure ko zama. Na baki zaɓi ki ci gaba da zama da ni ko ki ci gaba da aure na. So in ta ce ta zaɓi ta ci gaba da zama da kai, there is no divorce. But when she says na zaɓi rabuwa, so that is three divorce. This is the second one. The third one is tawkil. Tawkil, you set her as a representative. A husband appoints his wife as a representative to act on his behalf in the matter of divorce. From that day, you said that from today, you are a representative in terms of divorce. Daga yau na baki daman saki a hannunki. Sabida haka, whenever she wills, she can say that na saki kaina. Yau na sake ka ko na saki kaina. So in this regard, when she says this, then the marriage is separated. The marriage is separated. So please, let's consider this. It's very important. Also, that is tamlik, takhir, and tawkil. So I think before we enter case 62, I don't know if there is any question before we enter case 62, because it's another new case. If there is any question, one can raise up his hand so that we can entertain a question. So is there any question? So case 62, which is li'an, oath of abstinence. Oath of abstinence. In Islamic law, it refers to a situation where a husband swears an oath to abstain from marital relation with his wife for a period exceeding 4 months. You can see here it is a husband that he does not agree with his wife. He said that I don't have any relation with my. Okay, 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 it's not li'an, it's ila'i. Okay, okay. When a husband takes an oath to refrain from marital relation for more than 4 months, maybe she do something for him and he takes an oath that I'm not going to have any marital relationship with you for 4 months. So in this case, because this has come in the Quran, وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْلُونَ مِن نِسَائِهِمْ تربص 4 أشهر فإن فاءوا فإن الله غفور رحيم وإن أزموا الطلاق فإن الله سميع عليم or عليم حكيم. So the wife has the right to report to the court of law so that he can be limited to a period of 4 months starting from the day he took the oath. Resumption of relations. If the husband resumes marital relations within or at the end of this 4-month period, the oath is considered nullified and no further action is needed. Dama he swears an oath that I'm not going to have any relation with my wife for the period of 4 months. So if he takes only that 4 months and he come back and continue his relations with her, then there is no any further action which is needed. Failure to resume relations. If the husband does not resume relations within the stipulated time, it does not automatically result in divorce. Instead, resume relations or to divorce her. You can see if the husband refused to resume the relation within the stipulated time, now it is 5 months, and he is not coming back to continue having a relations with her. So the court of law can give him directive that he has to continue his relation with his wife or he have to divorce her. If a husband resumes relation after the revocable divorce, he may take his wife back. Maybe the court of law have forced him to divorce her, then he can take his wife back. Forcing harm. In cases whereby the husband's abstinence is intended to cause harm, there are two prevailing opinions. Whether the 4 months period should be counted from the time the wife makes her request, or if the court should command an immediate separation. Because here maybe we understand that this husband is trying to cheat or to cause harm to this wife, then the court of law has two options in his regard. They can seize him to 4 months that, hey, you guy, you cannot pass 4 months without having any relation with your wife. And yeah, another opinion is that the court of law can ask him to give her an immediate divorce so that she can be separated with him and go and find another husband to marry. So this is part of what we call zihar, this thing, Eli, oath of abstinence. Case 63 is on zihar, injunction of unlawful analogy, which is the situation whereby uh, zihar is where a husband compares a woman that is lawful to him, which comprises his wife or his slave, to a woman who is permanently forbidden for him. Like, let me make it very clear. Da Hausa abin da ake nufi shine a zihari mutum ya je ya kamanta matar shi da wacce take harama a kan shi. But this is part of what Arabs do. Sai ya ce, ke dinnan matana yanzu a matsayin mahaifiyata kike, ko a matsayin ƙanwata kike, ko bayan kin nan yanzu a matsayin bayan ƙanwata yake. So it is not just clearly from the statement, but the moment he says this, daga sanda shi lokacin larabawan suke yi, idan ya ce ke yanzu matsayin ƙanwata kike, to ai babu aure tsakanin mutum da ƙanwar shi. To wannan ya nuna cewa wannan statement ɗin da ya faɗi kan matan ya nuna ya rabu da ita ne, saki. So, but even if one states the statement, but I asked a question about that when say you are looking alike like my wife, so that one is not going to be considered as zihar. Don mutum yana cewa matar shi momi ko yana ce mata daughter or something else, at normal day it is not something that is appreciated, but it is not like that of the Arab, which their intention is that you are as my mother in terms of forbidden, in terms of marriage invalidity. Like the way I cannot marry my sister, then that is the situation you are now to me. So you can see this is what we call zihar. So please don't try this. It is part of divorce. So this is the best explanation for the zihar. There are views of the scholars. We have the Maliki view. If a husband compares his wife to a non-relative woman in this matter, it is considered zihar. However, other scholars interpret such a comparison as a form of divorce. Sorry, she ruling in zihar is that وَالَّذِينَ يُظَاهِرُونَ مِن نِسَائِهِمْ ثم يقولون لما قالوا فتحرير رقبة من قبل أن يتماسا. Before you can come back and continue having relations with your wife, you have to free a slave. If you cannot free a slave, you have to do 60 fasting consecutively. Sai kai azumi 60 a jere when you compare your wife with your mother or with your sister. Sai mutum ya yi azumi 60 a jere. فإن لم يستطيع فإطعام 60 miskinan. If you cannot do 60 consecutive fasting, then you are going to do 60 miskinan. You are going to feed 60 of the poor people. So this is very important. Let's know this importance of zihar. You can see direct comparison. Your back is like the back of my mother. So before you continue having relations with your wife, you have to do kafara, which is expiation. You will free a slave, that is first. Second, fasting, 60 consecutive fasting. Then feeding the poor, you have to feed the poor full plate with rice and stew, or swallow with a good soup. So, conditional zihar, where a husband pronounces zihar before marrying a woman. So in this case, he cannot enjoy marital relations on her after marriage until he has completed the expiation after the marriage is contracted. So this is very important. You can see here he is not even yet married to the woman, but he went and do zihar to her that ke a matsayin mahaifiyata kike. So this kind of statement that he made immediately after the imam has stated their marriage, then they cannot have any kind of relation until he frees a slave. If he cannot free a slave, he should go and do 60 fasting consecutively a jere. If he cannot do that, he have to feed the poor. So if he cannot, before he continue having relations with the wife. So Alhamdulillah, this is the place we are going to stop. As you can see, we have reached the 64th case, uh, which we are only left with 6 cases. Maybe inshallah, I have to ask question in the group if we can finish this class within the weekdays, because next week is going to be Salah, so that before Salah we can conclude the class and decide on having the certificate, whether we are going to go for an exams before the certificate, or the certificate is going to be for any person, anyone who attends the class. So if there is any question, please you can forward the question now before we call it a day and we close the class now. Assalamu alaikum. If there is any question, please. Any question, please? So in the absence of any question, inshallah, I'm going to send, let's try to vote and see whether we can finish this class within tomorrow and Tuesday, or even tomorrow. I think by tomorrow, if we start early, we can finish the class and have our final discussions and see whether we are going to have a test for the entire book, or we are just collecting the certificate. So let's try to see that we vote so that we can know whether you will be available within tomorrow or next tomorrow to have the class, so that we can decide on what to do. Since next Saturday is going to be part of Salah, which we are busy enjoying our Salah break. So, inshallah, we are going to discuss that in the group. In the absence of any question, we are going to say Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayka. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. See you next time in the class.